Modern has been broken again. Once again, the format has gone to hell. Thanks to Pascal Maynard, who has designed a deck that just makes the format dirty. It's a lot... Modern is a lot like a public toilet. It can't stay clean even for a whole week. So here we are, we've got this new Grinding Station Breach deck that is basically getting tons of play in Modern. It's able to kill on, I think he said on turn 2.2. It's incredibly fast, and it's got all the heavy players. I mean, every single time I gotta do one of these videos, we see things like Arkham's Astrolabe, Emry, and Thassa's Oracle. Oh my god, it's like it's a family reunion, of course. So how on earth does this deck win? Well, the idea is that you play Underworld Breach. Now you can play non-land cards from your graveyard infinitely. You just, usually when you play something like Past in Flames, Yawgmoth's Will, the card gets exiled after it dies or it's been used up. Not with Underworld Breach. You can reuse the card over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So this is how the deck works. You're going to get your Grinding Station in play. Now, you sacrifice you can tap it, sacrifice an artifact, and target player, yourself, you're going to mill yourself 3 cards. Oh, by the way, whenever an artifact comes into play, you can untap this thing. Guess where the synergy is coming. But you put 3 cards into your graveyard. That's where Underworld Breach comes in. Until end of turn, non-land cards in your graveyard have escape. And so... the escape cost, conveniently, is 3 cards. Whoop-de-doo. So you keep grinding 3 cards into your graveyard, and you keep escaping them. And how do you keep this loop going? Well, you can do it with the 0 mana cards. You can do it like Everflowing Chalice. You can do it like Mishra's Bauble, Mox Amber. And the idea is you pay for 0, keep grinding cards into your graveyard to keep fueling the Underworld Breach. And the idea is once you have a legendary creature in play, say Emry, now you can start floating mana with Mox Amber, and that's where basically the game is over, because you mill yourself all the way to the bottom of your library, and then with the floating mana that you had with Mox Amber, because you can play Mox Amber, float it for mana, sacrifice it to Grinding Station, then replay the Mox Amber with your mana floating with Underworld Breach, and eventually you're going to have no cards in your library, and with that floating mana, play Thassa's Oracle! Thassa's Oracle for victory. Like, as if Thassa's Oracle... This card was only a build-around card, and when you build a card like this, you end up build-around decks like this. This is exactly how this is exactly what this deck was meant to be built for this card. As if we didn't have a card already called Laboratory Maniac, which was fair. You had to build even more around it, like ad nauseum. But this is just a whole package of a win condition in one. And of course, worst comes to worst, you can like lightning bolt your opponent to death if you want to keep looping something like that around. It depends. There's multiple ways of winning with this deck. But the point is, this deck has all the nonsense cards, all the bullshit cards all in one. We've got Emry, Lurker of the Lock. This card is now seeing play in all the BS decks that we've seen now in Modern. This card is never being played fair. I don't understand why artifacts have to keep reducing the cost of the spells. Artifacts already produce a lot of mana, already make things really mana efficient, already make things as if they cost nothing. Why does the creature have to cost less for all the mana, for all the artifacts that are in play? I mean, that's why this deck is playing what it is. You can play Engineered Explosives for 0, play your Everflowing Chalice for 0 to get your Emry in play super quickly. And this thing can recur things from the graveyard as well. So you got Psy Master Thopterist. That's also a win condition in itself. So if you don't have your Underworld Breach or Grinding Station combo going, you at least can get a lot of value out of Psy, either sacrificing artifacts to draw cards or recurring things from the graveyard with Emry. I mean, Emry plus, like, even Mishra's Bauble is pretty much a damn combo in itself, drawing 2 cards a turn. And that's going to produce a ton of Thopters with Master Thopterist. Well, If everything wasn't as bad as it could be, we see Teferi Time Raveler in addition to all the other crap that I've already mentioned, to protect the combo, protect you what you're doing, to make the frustration factor go overboard, where you have to go see psychiatric help. Teferi Time Raveler is also in this deck. I'm sure also to bounce every single answer that we could possibly have for this archetype, whether it would be Chalice on 0, Chalice on 1, maybe Damping Sphere, maybe all sorts of possible answers are going to be answered by Teferi Time Raveler. This is the anti-fun card, the anti-answer card, and the anti-play magic card. Hearthstone in one card. Got Muddle the Mixture. You can transmute for basically, well, I guess you can transmute. Discard this card, search your library for a card with the same converted mana cost as this card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So this is able to help you find some of your combo pieces between Underworld Breach or Grinding Station if you don't already have it already. I mean, this deck can dig pretty far. Engineer, oh my god! 4 Engineered Explosives in the main deck! In the main deck! I mean, this just rips fair decks apart. It's not even fair. And this deck is really good at recurring this thing. So, you know, I play Merfolk. I can beat 1 Engineered Explosives. But can I beat a second? Can I beat a third? Can I grind through an Emry field version of infinite Emry of Engineered Explosives? Can I beat an Underworld breached version of Engineered Explosives? Just millions of Engineered Explosives. I'm pretty sick of this card, and I'm pretty sick of it being part of the artifact package to these sort of decks. So Everflowing Chalice, a pretty good way of making mana. Mishra's Bauble, of course. I mean, this is a card that's actually been discussed to get banned quite a few times. It's not really there yet. It's always being played in every single deck because it's so efficient for what it does. 0 mana enables tons of artifact synergies. You know, basically, this is basically a legacy deck. We've got Mox Amber. Thank God Mox Opal is banned. If Mox Opal was legal, this would basically be tier super 0. I don't know. This is the tier 0 deck to beat other tier 0 decks if Mox Opal was still around. Arkham's Astrolabe, of course. Of course, every single time we talk about a busted deck, Arkham's Astrolabe is there. Always. It's always there. Always these stupid... Always you three. You, and you. Always. In every single archetype that I have to do these sort of videos. Of course, Grinding Station, Underworld Breach. So Underworld Breach, I mean, this card is just destroying Legacy. Yawgmoth's Will is banned for a very damn good reason. This thing's cheaper than that. It's 2 mana. Anyway, wrecking Legacy big time, and now it's wrecking Modern. And we got like all the snow-covered lands. Of course, snow-covered lands. Arkham's Astrolabe. Not letting Blood Moon do its job. This is what happens when Blood Moon can't do its job. You enable decks like this. And of course, a sideboard of 0 mana spells. You got Ceremonious Rejection. Not exactly sure what the full spectrum of what this is supposed to do, but probably defeats the Eldrazi. The Eldrazi-tron decks, another Lightning Bolt, Ether Gust, Mystical Dispute, another Psy Master Thopterist. If they have to go the fair route, if you're gonna bring the rest in pieces, if you think you can exile the graveyard, don't forget about their creatures. So this is the type of deck that attacks on multiple angles. If you think you can take away all your removal spells, well, that's not going to do it because then they go for the graveyard. If you go heavy on the graveyard, don't forget about their creatures because they're going to beat you down with these things. Psy Master Thopterist is in excellent win condition, especially with all this 0 mana shit. Fact or fiction? From like 2 decades ago? I don't understand that one, and a Wear and Tear. So this deck has all bases covered, all angles. Not sure exactly what the idea is to defeat a sort of archetype like this. Can it beat like a Stony Silence? Like, Stony Silence doesn't do anything to this, and this is a triggered ability. No, you have to sacrifice it. Of course you have to sacrifice it. That's what the Wear and Tear is for. That's what they put Wear and Tear. They've got that covered too. So anyway, Modern's about to feel the heat of this. A lot of people, because of this deck hasn't even been out for barely a week, and people are already calling for the banning of Underworld Breach. The banning of Grinding Station. Grinding Station just said hello to Modern. We never saw it play out of Grinding Station. People are already crying for the banning of Grinding Station. That's how powerful this deck is. Anyway, this has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master. Just staring at another Arkham's Astrolabe deck.